Hello and welcome to another episode of Stories from the Set, coming to you not live from the beautiful Gramercy Palace in Koreatown. I'm your host, Jesus, the original Jesus. Stories from the Set is a podcast that focuses on people who work in the entertainment industry. Not just people who are in front of the camera, but behind the camera. Not just above the line, but below the line. Today's guest is a hair and makeup artist. She has worked on films and various commercial productions. She's not only a California native, but an LA native as well. Please welcome the beautiful, the talented, the reigning Sephora Point champion of the United States, Sierra Barton.
Hello.
Hello, Sierra.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm good. It's a beautiful day before Thanksgiving. Oh, can I say that?
Yeah, you could say
it's recorded day before Thanksgiving, not aired the day before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it's not going to matter. Yeah, so I'm talking to the camera. I just want to apologize. Yes, okay. I know there's an echo. I don't know what to do about the echo. I'm sure this will be fixed at some point in my life, but you're going to have to deal with it. All right.
Do you want me to talk to the camera, or do you want me to talk to you?
Talk to me.
Okay.
Talk to me.
Okay.
Talk to me. So, Sierra, being an LA native, what made you get started into the film industry? Obviously, all around.
My friend's dad is a producer, so he
that helps.
I was a gymnast and a dancer and a cheerleader growing up, so I was around makeup a lot, like stage makeup as a young girl, and I just had a knack for it, but I never wanted to do it because in my mind I was just like, I don't want to work at Sephora and I don't want to do weddings, and that's kind of conceptually what I thought of when I thought of a makeup artist. And my friend's dad asked if I'd ever thought about doing it professionally, and I told him no, and he asked if I wanted to come on one of his sets over the summer. I think I was like 13. And I agreed. I was like, yeah, of course. Like, Jonathan Bennett was in it, and he was in Mean Girls, and I had a crush on him, even though he's gay. But regardless, still had a crush on him. So I went, and I shadowed the makeup team, and I just fell in love with, like, being on set and just the atmosphere and the art that goes into it, and, like, character development and all that stuff. And I just kind of was like, this is what I want to do.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So what was the first project you worked on? What was your first project that you were like getting
that I worked on?
Yeah, that you worked on.
Gosh, it was a web series called something Granny. I don't even remember what it was called.
Okay.
It was some like low budget web series, and I had to make the lead actress look 60, and I think she was probably like 26.
Okay.
It actually turned out really good. The makeup. I never saw the finished project, but
No, I've worked on a few of those. You don't know whether you're going to see that digital work or not.
Right. But no, it was cool. It was my first like project that was just me. You know, like I wasn't shadowing anybody. It wasn't like it was my department, small department, but you know.
Yeah.
But it was really fun. I had a good experience with that, and yeah.
And what type of makeup do you prefer doing? Do you like your typical glamour makeup, or do you prefer the special effects?
I like both in different ways.
Okay.
I do love special effects. I love the gore. I love the blood. I love the research that goes behind it to make an effect look realistic rather than character-y or outdated, because everything's getting so advanced with special effects. And then I do love beauty, because I get a satisfaction when somebody sees themselves after they have makeup on, especially if they're not a makeup wearer. That's really satisfying. My ideal world would be a show like Criminal Minds, where you kind of have both beauty and the gore of like the autopsy victims or like the strangled victims and stuff like that.
And what are some of the stressful things that hair and makeup? Because I personally work as a grip.
Right.
I don't deal with hair and makeup at all.
Yeah.
Except when they're like in front of me in line.
When we're always
yeah.
in the way.
In the way.
You guys are moving lights and we're in the way.
So, tell me, what's the most difficult thing about being on a set?
I think it varies between the sets, but I'd say the most difficult or stressful thing is when a director doesn't know what they want and they don't know how to explain their vision. And we can always step in and kind of help guide them with like our opinions and thoughts and choices. But if they don't like something, like I had it yesterday, the director didn't like the lip color, and she wanted it a very specific color, but she couldn't verbalize the color. So it was like, we're wasting time because we're trying to figure out this one tiny little detail of a lip color. So I'd say that's stressful, just like the amount of changes on the fly you have to be able to go through to fit the director's vision correctly, especially if they're indecisive.
And do you run into decisive directors a lot, or
Not usually. It's probably once every like blue moon, but because I'm very big on like prep work. Like I like discussing.
When do you like to be brought on to a project?
Ideally, I like to be brought on at least for a feature at least 2 weeks before, so that I can do like that's like bare minimum 2 weeks. So I can do my breakdown, my lookbooks, all that stuff, and have conversations with the director about how they want their characters to look throughout the progression of the film. Shorts, like 25-page shorts or less, or 50-page scripts or less, a week would suffice. It'll take me like a day and a half to break that script down completely. Commercials, you don't really need a prep because it's mainly just like everyday looking people, just clean and relatable, nothing too over the top. And then music videos, unfortunately, you get brought on like 2 days before because they always like hair, makeup, and wardrobe. They're just like, yep, like, are you available? Like, I got pulled on the music video I did yesterday on Saturday. So it was like very last minute, and it was very conceptual, and I think that's because people just think like, oh, makeup's makeup, rather than like it does contribute to the world you're trying to create, especially if it's very stylized. But yeah, most of the directors that I work with, I kind of make sure that we're on the same page before we get on set, so there's no hold up on time, because there's nothing worse than waiting on makeup, because that's such a cliche as it is. I try not to play into that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, when you're working on a film where there's a lot of blood and gore, like, does the wardrobe department hate you?
Yes and no. There's duplicates.
Right.
Because you have to, because there's
Right.
no way that something's getting out once it's in. To a degree, you can wash some out, but some of the time it's hard because production doesn't want to pay for full wardrobe. They just like want to take the actor's stuff. But in that case, if there is a bloody scene, you have to kind of wash it out. Yeah, I'd say that some wardrobe girls or people, they can be men too, sorry.
They can be men.
Wardrobe stylists, costume designers.
Okay.
No, I don't think I've ever had
Okay.
any conflict with costume design. Yeah, I think I've always been good with my costume designers.
Good. That's
Yeah.
good to know.
Yeah.
Because it's difficult when you're,
Right.
you're your own department.
And you're throwing blood at
And
their
you're throwing-
stuff.
you're throwing blood at their
yeah,
stuff,
I
so
think if
that's-
you have like a consideration and a just communication, open communication with other departments that intertwine with yours, and you discuss like, hey, somebody's getting their throat slit, there's going to be blood all over their costume, like, we need to make sure we have doubles, we need to know what other scenes and days we're shooting those scenes that we need, either bloodied or not, of this costume. And once it's all just laid out, I think there's no room for conflict or problems.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good.
Yeah.
Because I don't really have any conflicts with. I never have conflicts with anybody on the set.
Yeah, I
usually.
try to keep it. I
Yeah.
think if you're, like, you gotta bend. It's a group effort. Like, no
Right.
department's more important than the other, to a degree. But
To a degree. I'll agree with that. So, what's the most elaborate makeup you've ever had to do?
let's see, I've done 3 werewolves for 3 different
werewolves.
projects.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. I did my first one for a student film.
Okay.
And it turned out great. And I put that on my resume or on my website, my portfolio, and every time I see a posting about looking for people needing werewolves, I just send that picture. Well, now I have 3.
Right, now you have 3.
Right, but they're just like, yeah, like you're hired, because I guess, I don't know, I have a good werewolf. But those are always fun because they're full face prosthetics and hand laid hair and claws and teeth and contacts and ears.
Do you ever find, because like part of your job is to like make a mold of somebody's face, do you ever find somebody like freak out during that situation when you got to...
The life cast?
Yeah.
I personally have never had anybody freak out in a life cast. I've only done 4 though in my life.
So.
Yeah, I feel like if I was life casted, I would freak out because I'm claustrophobic. And granted, the alginate that I use, at least, and a lot of people do use, it's super quick drying. So now they used to take like 20 to 25, 30 minutes to set.
Wow.
Now they take like 6 to 10.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're pretty quick now.
That's not too much time.
Right. Whereas if it was 30, I'd be like, nope, I'm not getting life casted.
So the only reason I'm bringing this up is because Jim Carrey, who famously played the Grinch, I can't remember when, but he had full-on makeup, and he said that he needed to that he actually sought out help from a Navy SEAL to keep his mind off the fact that he was in all this stuff.
It does happen. It's very common because it's a very, it's a lot of, it feels like you're being smothered because it's basically the alginate, like when they take your molds at the dentist, if you've ever had braces, your whole mouth, it's a very uncomfortable feeling in your mouth. So you can imagine it on your face, just this really like thick, gloopy material being just like dripped all over your face. It's not the most comfortable, I would imagine, but like I said, I've never been life casted, and I've heard people that they're just like, I can't do it. And you have to communicate with the actor, like, if at any point you're uncomfortable, let us know and we'll stop. Because it's worse for it to be almost dry and then they freak out, because then it's harder to get them out.
Right. So who puts the straws in the nostrils?
It depends. You can, they can. Or are you saying, like, you have to put it in everybody?
Right, I know.
Everybody has to get the straws.
Yeah, everybody has to get straws in the nostrils.
Yeah, because then you can't breathe.
Can't breathe. Right.
Yeah, unless you can hold your breath that long. Some people can, but not most people. But yeah.
So you're like, oh, okay, I'm going to put straws in your nostrils now.
Yeah, sometimes, I mean, because it's such a weird sensation, I'm like, if you're comfortable, I'm comfortable with doing it, but if not, I kind of like guide them in with their hands, you know, just because some people are very weird with touching, you know.
And have you ever had an actor or an actress like look at their makeup and be like, no, this isn't right?
I've had, it's mainly actresses more than actors.
Okay.
I've had a couple where you have to have the character not looking their best, and it's for the story, you know, and they're like, oh, I can't go on camera like this, and you kind of have to get the director involved, and you kind of have to convince them that it's for the character, not for you, you know, like you're not yourself in this, you're playing a character. For something like a music video or like a commercial or an interview, like, yeah, you want to make sure that whoever's going on camera has their makeup done the way that they have their makeup done. But if you're playing, like, if you're in an insane asylum, like, you don't have fake eyelashes and a red lip, and there's nothing I can do about that, you know? Like, if you don't want to look like that, don't go out for those roles. Which I understand you don't ever want to look ugly. And there's that balance of movie making, you know, in movie making where you can still have makeup on when you wake up. You know, like, that, of course, is understandable, but you're not going to look like you're going to prom if you're in an asylum.
You know, now that I have you on, have you ever seen the movie Cloud Atlas?
No, I haven't.
I recommend you see that movie just so you can see how racist it is.
Okay, I'll have to watch it.
With the makeup, because I swear to God, there's this, you're following these different storylines, and one of the storylines, everybody seems to be Asian.
Okay.
And all these characters are playing the different people in these different storylines, And I'm like, wow, that looks pretty racist with one character, and then like I saw another character, I'm like, wow, that's even more racist. And then I'm like, it can't get any more racist. And then they had an even more racist Asian-looking character. These are white. This is white people playing Asian, and I started
I'll have to watch
laughing.
it.
I started laughing so hard at that movie. The guy who just made me burst out laughing was you saw the Matrix movies, right? The guy who played Mr. Ander, the main.
Oh yeah, I'm terrible with names, but yeah.
That actor, he was also in whatever, but he was in there and he just looked so
ridiculous.
so ridiculous.
Yeah.
It was.
I'll have to watch it.
I laughed out loud. I'm gonna pause this for a second.
Okay.
And we're back.
Back from the movie.
We took a break so I could show her Cloud Atlas and just let her see.
Yeah.
How crazy it is.
Yeah, very interesting.
Now, was that
That's
racist or what?
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Yeah. I wasn't subtle at all. I was just like, we're going to make him look Asian.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
So, all right, now totally off track. Now that we got that out of the way.
Yeah.
So, have you ever? What kind of problems do you run into with makeup? Because I know, like I mean, you're all there, you're all set up, you're ready to go, you got everything you need. Like, have you ever? Is there ever a problem with like prosthetics or like, what's like a real like problem-solving thing that you got to do on the fly?
A
Just
lot.
get a little closer to that.
A lot of times sweat interferes if you're shooting in like a really hot area, like outside, or if you're in Studio 60 and production doesn't want to pay for air conditioning because they charge you extra. Called them out. You run into a lot of problems because sweat interferes with the makeup. You can stop it so much, but like it does, like with prosthetics, it'll make the glue less
adhesive.
sticky. Yeah, it doesn't stick as well, and it kind of breaks the barrier. But it's a lot of just like if you watch it and keep up with it, rather than letting it get to the point where you're like, "Fuck, we got to take this off and redo it." You can kind of like maintain it, which is. It just makes our job more hands-on, and we're always have to. Well, I mean, you should always be touching up anyways, but when you know that it's hot, your job is kind of like after every take, like you just got to check it to make sure that it's how it should look. So it just makes heat is hard. I'd say heat is the main thing with makeup. Or if you have like a scene where there's like a passionate kissing scene. It's a lipstick reset every time. You try to get like lipsticks that are matte for that so that they stay on, but I've made the mistake where you shot the scene and established a look and you have her in like a red lip at dinner, and then 2 scenes later they're like making out in the bathroom and you're like, oh, we got to keep a red lip on because that's what we put in that scene, and that's a lot because you're cleaning it off the guy, you're cleaning it off her, and it's like red lipstick is messy. But yeah, heat is the biggest one.
Stay away from the red lipstick.
Stay away from the red lipstick if you know there's a kissing scene, or get a matte red liquid lipstick for the actress.
Okay, since I have you here, and I don't know if any women, hardly anybody watches this. Let's be fair. Let's be fair about that. What are some simple makeup tips a woman can do? She's getting ready for work. She doesn't have a lot of time.
Brows and lashes are what I'd pay attention to.
You know what's interesting I found is like, I think it's only recently that I've started to actually see like eyebrow makeup. Has that always been around, or is that something new?
What do you mean?
Like
by eyebrow makeup?
Like to put like brown in the eye, no matter
the degree that it's getting nowadays is ridiculous. Because like the Kardashian trend and the Instagram makeup trend it looks very drag. Like it looks like drag makeup, and people have been putting makeup on their brows forever, but since brows are so in now, it's being marketed more heavy.
The only women I knew who like painted their eye were like Latinas and cholas, and
right.
Now it seems to be like the thing. I don't know about the thing, but
Right. Brows
I've
are
seen
so in.
advertisement for it.
Brows are so in, so all the makeup companies are really pushing their brow products. And there's so many different types now that they're marketing, because there's powders, there's pomades, there's gels, there's pencils, and they just kind of keep. Honestly, it's a lot of the same product, just like marketed differently. But those four, like pencil, which is a wax, pomade, which is kind of a wax, and then powder. Those are the three overall forms of brow coloring. And now there's marketing.
How do you fix your brows, or your brows are just naturally like?
With me and makeup, I hardly do my own makeup. I don't have anything on my brows today, but I'm Middle Eastern, so I kind of have decent brows as it is. They get crazy, and I just get them threaded. But for people with very sparse brows or like thinning brows, I'd use a pomade because it's a little bit thicker and it has to stick to the skin. Whereas somebody with like my eyebrows who has a little bit more of an eyebrow, I just use a powder to like lengthen them a little bit and fill in. I know.
Why would you want to lengthen
Well, it's
your
funny.
eyebrows?
It's funny because there's actually like a diagram that you're supposed to follow for how an ideal brow is, and it should start at the tip of the nose, and then it should arch at the end of the pupil, and then at the end of the eye it should end. So mine end a little short naturally.
You're short here, you're short here.
So I add a little bit here and a little bit there, and then I bring my arc up a tad to open my eye. So it's like, if you know what you're doing, you know facial anatomy and how the eye perceives beauty, which is like the three main things that a makeup artist should know, and a lot don't. You don't need to look like the look, if that makes sense, because that look doesn't fit everybody's face.
Right.
Same with the cat eye that everybody wants to do. It's like, that cat eye doesn't fit everybody. Like, I have a very heavy brow bone, and if I darken my upper lid, I look like I have black eyes, and it like makes me look more like hollow. Is that the word? Hollow? I don't know the word.
Hollow.
Hollow
eye sockets.
Yeah. There's another word I'm trying to think of, but it makes your eye look deeper set than it is. So it's like knowing your face and knowing what works for your face, or if you're a makeup artist, knowing what works for each type of eye shape, lip shape, cheekbone structure really helps you do your job better.
Okay, I got a trivia question for you.
Okay.
Let's see. Okay, so name your top 5 worst makeup movies that you've seen in the past few years.
Oh God. In the last 5 years, let's see.
Anything that stands out?
One thing that stands out, it's not 5 years ago.
Aside from what we just watched.
Right. It's not 5 years ago and it's not a movie, but season 6 of Parks and Rec, the way that, have you seen Parks and Rec?
Yeah.
The way that they have Donna Meagle's blush is out of control. It's so pink, and she's such a rich, colored African-American woman. It's like she has this like bubblegum pink blush like right on the apples of her cheek, and it's just like, who did that? You know, like, who was there to like make that decision? And that stands out. Gosh, looking back at White Chicks, that makeup's terrible.
White Chicks.
That makeup.
Way back there.
That makeup's not the best.
Oh yeah, you could have done better.
I think for the time it was good, you know, but seeing it now and seeing what makeup's come to, it's just like, you can tell that those are dudes, you know? And I guess that was kind of the gag, that they were like doing their own makeup, kind of, but I mean, it's a comedy and it's for like teen girls, but that one's pretty bad. What else? I watch a lot more TV than I do movies.
Okay, that's fine. Just tell me the
SVU, sometimes you can, on Special Victims Unit, Law and Order, you can see some of their edging on their, like, of a stab wound. You can see the edge of the prosthetic sometimes. And it's just like, there's been a couple episodes where I have to pause it and like take a picture and like text all my makeup friends, like, this is actually on camera. Like, somebody put this on like network television. Sorry to any of those makeup artists who've ever, like, I'm gonna not get work after this, but no. It's mainly the older ones too, but sometimes you'll see where, and it has a lot to do with where the lighting on where you apply the makeup, it's different than where the makeup is on set. But sometimes you'll see, unless you have the makeup light, which if there's any makeup artist listening, don't get a ring light. It's called the makeup light. Vivian Baker makes it, and you can't go wrong with that light. You can see everything. But sometimes you can see that the coloring of their like skin is off. So it's little things or continuity. I notice so much continuity where it's.
Give me some really bad continuity.
I've seen hair changes. The Office, when Jim and Pam get married, when they run off to go on the boat on Niagara Falls, her hair's curled. It starts curled. It gets wet, and then they go back to the wedding ceremony, and it's in an updo, and it's like it completely changed, and it's stuff like that people don't see,
Yeah,
But
I didn't pay attention to that.
Right.
That's not my thing to pay attention.
I know. See, I'm so I'm always looking at makeup and hair, so I'll see it, and it's just like, what happened,
Who do you? Okay, so who do you think puts together the best look for them as far as makeup goes?
Like the best artists?
No, not the best art. The best celebrities, I guess you could say. Who really has a good? Who's putting themselves together really well?
I mean, they all have a team, but I
Right.
guess whoever. Well, I mean, Zendaya. Zendaya's known for doing her own makeup, and I think she looks great. She does her own makeup. Blake Lively.
Really?
Every time she goes out, any red carpet, movies, she looks great. And it's not too much, That's kind of my aesthetic, is bringing out natural beauty without just piling makeup on, Blake Lively always looks beautiful. Olivia Munn. Olivia Munn looks beautiful. Her makeup artist is Patrick Ta. He also does Selena Gomez and Ariana Grande, and he's really good. They all look beautiful.
He likes working with brunettes.
Yeah, I don't think he doesn't do many blondes. Shay, I forgot her name. She's on Pretty Little Liars. She's also a brunette. She looks pretty a lot. Viola Davis.
Oh, really? Viola Davis.
I think it was the Met Gala last year. Whoever did her makeup, oh my God, it was stunning. Stunning. She looked amazing. And she has a hard face to do.
Oh, really?
Because she
Just
has
dark skin.
Not just that, she has masculine features, and they just brought out such a feminine beauty out of her, and it was amazing. It was great makeup on her. I don't know who did that, but yeah.
Do you find because you have to work with different shades of skin, is it difficult to find makeup for all these different shades, or has makeup technology just come to a point where it doesn't matter what your skin color is, we're going to have it for you?
A lot of brands now are becoming skin tone inclusive, whereas even 2 years ago, even 2 years ago, it was very hard to find opposite ends of the spectrum. So very dark models or people in general. It was harder to find good makeup. A lot of the pro makeup brands, even Ben Nye has a good range. They've always had a good range. Ben Nye is the basic theatrical makeup that's been around forever. But yeah, Rihanna's line, Fenty Beauty, now has 40 shades, and everybody's kind of following that business model to market to the masses, because skin color is so vast. Yesterday I worked with an albino girl.
Oh, really?
And it's it's I've worked with her multiple times, and I'm shooting her on Friday, but she's Asian, but she's also albino. So instead of having a very pink undertone like most albinos are, because they're white, she has a more yellow undertone. So you have to mix a little bit of yellow with very, very, very fair foundation. So it's a lot, for a makeup artist, it's a lot of color theory and mixing. I never just use one shade on somebody. It's a mix of 2 to 3, depending on their skin tone.
So you're not just pulling something out of a compact and just pounding them on?
Yeah, I have all, because I use a lot of creams. So I have them all in little acrylic containers, and it's sectioned with all of them off. So I just kind of scrape it off, put it on a palette, and mix it around like paint, and then put it on. So it's very, It's a lot of knowing color theory and undertone and stuff like that. But yeah, I think it's very accessible to get a good shade range now. It's much easier than even a couple years ago.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So, like, how much do you spend a month on makeup? Just for work?
How much do I spend on makeup out of pocket, or how much am I? Because I get kit fees.
Right. Okay.
I'd say out of pocket,
Out of pocket.
not including my kit fees. I probably will spend $300 a month of my own money.
Wow.
In addition to the money I get for kit fees.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of sponges.
Yeah. Well, usually like disposables, I use my kit fee for, but yeah, I do a lot of photo shoots for myself and for my not of myself, but I'll have my model friends come over, and my boyfriend's a photographer, so he'll shoot them. And if I see something that I want to do, I'll have to go buy, because usually it's like specialty things, you know, like a latex looking red lip, which is like, I don't have that in my kit offhand because it's not something I use every day. I'll have to go buy that, and makeup's so expensive. Like my kit, it's insured. I just had to redo my
Wow, I didn't know people insured their makeup.
Yeah. Oh my God, they're so expensive. I have $16,000 worth of makeup, not including special effects or my hair kit.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is a lot of makeup.
Yeah.
Where do you keep it all?
At my house. I have like a cabinet.
What's your yeah, like a whole kitchen cabinet?
No, I have like one of those IKEA cabinets. It's like the wardrobe thing, and
it's just all makeup.
It's just all makeup.
Wow.
And my special effects is in there too, but I'm very big on condensing. Like I love kit organization and trying to get the most but carry the least, because it's so heavy carrying all my stuff.
How much does your makeup kit weigh?
I don't know. I've never weighed it.
Like, can you lift it up with like two hands?
Well, I have a rolling kit, a Zuka bag,
right?
Which they're very compact. That probably weighs 20 pounds.
Okay, that's still
25 pounds, 25 pounds. I'm terrible with guesstimating things, but I think I can carry it. And if like I have to carry it up a flight of stairs, I can. It's probably a little heavier than 25. But if I had to carry up 4 flights of stairs, I'd be like, I'm not doing it. And then I have a backpack, a Zuka backpack, and then I have my set bag, and I'll put disposables in there, and then I have another black case, and then I have a suitcase-looking thing that slides onto my roller bag. So I have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bags that I carry of just makeup. Skin prep, like, it's a lot. It's a lot. So it's like when people like try to be like, oh, $100 a day on makeup, depending on the project, it's like I'm bringing $17,000 worth of stuff to your project. Granted, I'm not going to use all $17,000 worth of stuff, but it's like makeup's expensive, you know? Like one little eyeshadow color, depending on the brand, is like $18. One little thing, you know? So it's very expensive.
Yeah, I know. I'm really glad I'm a guy, because I could show up with no makeup. I've got this.
I know. I mean, I show up with no makeup everywhere, except for here. I put some on, but
when I go shopping with my girlfriend, I'm just like, oh my God, how much was that?
Yeah, and it's like I get discounts too, because I'm a professional makeup artist, and all of the stores in the Valley give like 20 to 40% off, which is like amazing.
Have you, do you know about this makeup school over here at the
Cinema? Is it Cinema?
Yeah.
I didn't go to that one. I went to Makeup Designery in Burbank, but I've heard good things about Cinema. I think if I ever continued my education, even though I don't need to, but like sometimes it's nice to see other artists' approach to things, and I don't assist a lot anymore. I love assisting, and I should be in the union hopefully by the end of this year. Then I know I'm super excited. Then I'll move on to assisting on big projects, which I'm really excited for that new phase in my career, because just like seeing how other artists work and all the techniques that they've picked up along their way is you can't read it in a book, you can't learn it in a school, you can't think of it yourself, you know, sometimes. And I think if I did continue schooling, you see like the instructor's way of doing things, and there's no right way of doing makeup. Well, to a degree. There's a lot of different routes to get to the same point. And sometimes another route that you didn't even know works better for you. So kind of seeing other people's work helps with that.
So what do you think of the? Because I've only seen one show where they like take a person and like make up their like whole body.
Like body paint?
I don't know. I don't know what paint they use, but they like make them up and they'll put them in a background and they have to blend them into the background. Do you know? Have you ever seen that show? I think it's called Bodyworks or something like that. I'm not too sure.
They blend. Oh, where it's like they're outside and then they paint the same background on them. So it
right.
I have seen that. I can't do that.
Oh,
I
okay.
can't body paint like that. Or like
Okay.
those people where they like body paint like clothes on somebody and it doesn't look like they're naked at all. I can't paint like that.
Okay.
That's amazing. Like that's crazy. I've seen a lot of it.
You wanna know an interesting story about this? Here's an interesting story. Demi Moore, she did a cover of I can't remember what. I think it was maybe Vanity Fair, where she had on like basically a black suit and with a red tie and a white shirt painted onto her body nude. But they did it in her hotel room, so they were like, "Well, now we got to go to the shoot," and they're like, "Well, we can't cover up." So she literally walked out of her hotel room through the
Naked.
lobby of that hotel, totally nude in that outfit.
Yeah. No, I've seen people paint like jeans and a t-shirt on somebody and they walk around to get like reactions. Nobody even bats an eye. And I'm like, that's a whole nother art in and of itself. Like those people are talented. Like I can't paint.
Right.
I can abstract paint, but like if somebody was like paint a vase of flowers with a like shadow, like I can't do it. I mean I could, but it looked like a third grader did it.
Right.
But I think that's more of like a painter, you know. I'm sure they can do beauty makeup and special effects too, but I don't have that skill within makeup. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought
That's amazing,
Because
though.
when I saw that show, I was like, "Oh, how does this promote makeup?" I guess they just had to do like something to make it interesting.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's body painters are amazing.
Well, how much makeup have you ever had to do? Like makeup a whole body? Or?
Yeah, I've done a lot of like Halloween for my friends and stuff. Like I've done Mystique twice, the blue X-Men.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that's
who wants to go out on a cold October
blue.
night?
I know, right? Yeah, full blue. And like the girl that we did, she was like, "Nah, I'm gonna be full nude." Like, she was full nude, and yeah, that was fun. But it's just like it's all one color blue, so it's easy. But that takes a while. I've painted people gold glitter for music videos, and one color I can body paint. Or sometimes they're insecure, like if they're shirtless guys and they're insecure, you can kind of like it's more of just body makeup than body painting. Just put body makeup on them and kind of give them a light contour where definition would be. Nothing where it looks charactery, but I've done that sort of stuff.
I saw there was when 300 came out, they did some movie made a spoof of 300, and you saw like all the guys had like makeup abs.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
So how long did it take you to do that girl's Mystique makeup, and where did you get the patterns for? Did you have to make the patterns yourself?
Yeah,
or?
we made them out of silicone. So we just made molds and then just poured the silicone in and just applied them. Looking back and having more knowledge, we could have just done Pros-Aid transfers, which literally just like pop on. They're very easy. But silicone, you have to glue them, and that took a little more time. I think there were two artists, me and my ex-roommate. She's a makeup artist too, and I think we did it in like an hour and a half. It wasn't crazy long. Yeah.
Why did it say, "Oh, I was in the makeup chair for like 6 hours" and shit like that?
Sometimes, well, also if you're doing makeup for camera, it has to look more exact. Whereas like we knew she was going to be in like a darker room at a party, you know, like it didn't have to be perfect. It still looked really good, but it didn't have to be like we weren't shooting in 8K,
Right.
you know, like
8K?
yeah, like
Do they shoot in 8K now?
yeah, I've shot. No, maybe it was 6K.
Maybe
it was
you're
6K.
thinking 4K.
No, I've shot in 6K.
You've shot in 6K?
I've shot in 6K.
Wow, that is crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't know they were shooting in 6K now.
Yeah.
How, like, our eyes can't even see in 4K. What do they need to
I
see
know.
in 6K?
I
don't
talked
get it.
with I'm friends with the director that I shot in the film with 6K, and he was like, editing was almost impossible in 6K. He's like, I'd never shoot in 6K ever again. But yeah, cameras are getting so advanced, makeup has to like keep up with that, because it's like Nothing is hidden.
Yeah, because I saw some test footage when I did something at the Red Studio. I saw some test footage of their 4K when 4K was first coming out, and on panoramic side it looked beautiful, great. But when they brought in the people with like makeup and props, I'm like, oh, those are makeup and props.
Right.
Those don't look real at all.
I know, it's so hard to. I mean, getting used to it, because like I got into it when. I mean, I was around it before, but most of my career has been in very, very, very high definition cameras, and so I kind of am like used to it. But I'm sure like Rick Baker, I'm sure he was like, because he's been a makeup artist forever.
Tell everybody who Rick Baker is.
He's done everything, like him and V. Neil, like they did The Grinch. They've done. I think he's won like.
He's won like 3 or 4 Oscars.
Yeah, he's done everything, and I can't.
Man, when it comes to like makeup.
Yeah.
I think he was like. I think Gorillas in the Mist was his like.
Claim to fame.
Masterpiece.
Yeah, he's done.
The way he like made those. I was just like, wow, you can't even tell us that.
Yeah, he's amazing. But I'm sure, like, since he saw everything, camera development and stuff, I'm sure that he really saw the, like, the progression of how makeup has to, like, improve. Whereas somebody who, like, just was like, all right, this is what we have. Like, this is what we shoot on. So I'm kind of, like, I'm fortunate where I don't have to, like, adapt my techniques. And, because they used a lot of foam latex prosthetics. And now everything's silicone, because it looks more realistic and it doesn't look as spongy in character as what they used to use.
And what do you think of the what do they call it when they give you that beauty look on camera, where they'll like even though you've got makeup on, they'll like smooth it out in post production?
Oh, where they blur it?
Yeah. Like, they'll even do that on TV, and I'm like, oh, your face looks weird.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a need for that? Or
I think
do you
it's...
think they're over...
I think a lot of stuff is over-edited. I think it just... Even the viewer is just like, that doesn't look real, But, I mean, I think that's more camera and the director rather than... Because makeup doesn't...
Right, I understand.
Yeah, but I think it's unnecessary.
Yeah.
I don't think it needs to be, like, people have pores, like, granted, on camera, you don't want to, like, if it's a tight shot, like, you don't want the pores to be out and about, but it's, like, you also don't, like, no one's a porcelain doll. Like, no matter how good your skin is, like, there's always texture, and I think the problem with blurring everything out, and they teach you this when you're learning how to color prosthetics, is there's so many colors in your skin. It's not just one color. So when you color prosthetics, you literally dip like a toothbrush type brush in different paints and fleck, like it's called fleckling. Well, I call it fleckling. I don't know the real word. You like flick little tiny bits of paint to cover the one toned thing to make it look more realistic and more like skin. So when they blur it out and make everything so smooth in one color, it just looks fake. It doesn't have the dimension and texture of natural skin.
And you also, when you're putting makeup on skin, you're actually like highlighting and darkening things and putting some dimensions to it.
Yeah.
And that just kind of like gets rid of it all.
Right. You're taking, and sometimes it's even just taken away with how they lit something, or it can be amplified by how they lit something. But yeah, it's playing with a lot of shadows and highlights and of the natural face structure and just like enhancing that.
When you're out on location, what do you do for makeup light? Do you have like
I have
a
one
light that you put on?
Yeah.
Do you have like a little thing that you carry?
Yeah, I have a case, and it's very expensive. It's like a $400 light. But it's
That's a lot for a light.
Yeah, it's really good though. It's called the makeup light.
Okay.
And it's as close as daylight as you can without being actual daylight. But yeah, it's a really good light, and it has just like a stand and a suction mount. So it has different mounts, so no matter where I am, I can kind of make something work. So yeah, if I don't have a trailer or if I'm not in a studio with a makeup room, I always have a good light. I even put my makeup light on if I do have a trailer or studio, just because it's a more accurate light for application than any other light.
Can you change the color temperature of the light?
There's filters that you can put on it. I don't have them. But yeah, you can change it. Like, you can go more tungsten or whatever, and you can dim it. It has a dimmer. Oh, yeah. It's neat. A lot of people use it for photography, too, because it's a good light. It's very powerful.
So, since you deal with a lot of makeup, what is the best thing to get makeup off a body? I don't like harsh things. I use micellar water. It's micellar water. It's really good, and coconut oil. Coconut oil takes everything off. Really?
Everything off. You can take a lot of prosthetic glues off with coconut oil. Wow. And it's completely natural. Like, my friend came over. He's an actor, and he was on some student film or something, and whoever they had doing hair they wanted his hair green for some reason, and it literally looked like spray paint was in his hair.
Oh, really?
Like, it was not what you should use on an actor, and he was really worried because, like, he had an audition, he couldn't have green hair, and he's like, I've showered like 5 times and like scrubbed at it and it won't come off, and he's like, and I don't want to use a stripper because then your hair like a color stripper. He didn't want to use a color stripper.
I don't want to use a stripper. I was very confused about that.
He didn't want to use a color stripper because it ruins your hair.
I was literally thinking as you said that, I don't want to use a stripper. I'm like, what do strippers know about it? Removing makeup?
Oh my god, I know. I say things sometimes, and it's like there's terms in like makeup artist world that like other people, but it's a color stripper, and it'll strip the ink from hair, but it's very harsh. And I was like, come over, I'll literally slather you in coconut oil and leave it on for 20 minutes, and it'll come out. And he's like, no, that won't work. And I was like, just trust me, it'll work. And it did. It took whatever spray paint stuff was in his hair, and it took it out, no problem. Yeah, it's really good for you. And like castor oil, well, I mean, for women or men, whoever, if you want your hair to grow, like your eyebrows, eyelashes, any hair in your body, castor oil is really good to rub like wherever and helps with hair growth.
Did not know that.
Yeah, I'm very into like non-chemical things, because it's the more chemicals you put in your face. Like, we live in LA, and like there's so many pollutants and chemicals in the air that you walk around in, and like you can literally wash your face and then walk outside for 15 minutes and come back in, and if you like took a cotton round in like an astringent and scrubbed, like wiped your face with it, it'll still come out dirty. Like, just walking around. It's crazy.
Yeah, so what do you charge? Like, obviously you've done makeup for Halloween. Like, is it just for fun? You charging people, or like how much do you charge? What are your price ranges?
For
I'm asking for myself.
For like Halloween, or like
Halloween. This is gonna be for next year.
Right. It depends. Usually for friends, I'll take like $100, and they pay for, depending on what it is. If it's if it's something simple, like I'll do it for like 50 or whatever. But like, depending on the products I'm using, or if we need to get prosthetics, like I made my friend a werewolf, again a werewolf, and he wanted like a forehead piece and contacts, and I think that in price was only, I think it was like $25 for the forehead piece and $20 for the contacts. So
did he have just the ones that go over? Did he have the full?
No, not the sclera ones. Those are really, I don't recommend anybody getting sclera lenses unless you have a contact, like a lens tech, measure your eye.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because not only is everybody's eye like width different, the dimension that your eyeball has a curvature is different in everybody. So those are really harmful to your eye.
Wow.
Yeah, because they kind of like, it's like if you're wearing too tight of shoes, it's not good for you, you know? And it's like worse for your eye. So I don't recommend sclera lenses unless you get them from a lens tech. Okay. But yeah, it depends. My rate depends. With Halloween stuff, like I don't have to be there to like keep up with the makeup, you know? It's just kind of like I do it and go, and it depends.
How many people did you do for Halloween this year?
I was actually in Malta for.
Oh,
So I wasn't even here. Everybody was
Wasn't here
like,
for Halloween.
I know. Everybody was like, you're not gonna be here. Like, what am I gonna do? But usually the year before I did 6 people, and then had to get myself ready for a Halloween party, and I was just like, ugh. But it's mainly just friends that are like, oh my god, like, can you do this? You know, I don't like market myself to do other people's makeup.
I see.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I do it for work. I don't want to do it in my spare time.
Right, and I don't like doing people's, like, I have some clients that I'll do, but that's not my main focus. Like, some people, like, have, like, they do house calls and stuff like that, and if I've worked with somebody before and they want me to do their makeup for an event or something, I'll do it. But, like, I don't market myself to do, like, house calls and personal makeup applications and stuff like that.
So you've never, like, worked with somebody who's going to go on an award show or something like that?
I've done it for just friends, but not, like, somebody, like, they're like, oh, I saw your ad on Facebook or something like that. Like, I'd love for you to do my makeup. It's like, I'll get an actress that I worked with on a set. She's like, hey, like, are you available tonight? I have an event, and I'd love for you to do my makeup. That I'll do. But, yeah, like, I've never done a wedding.
Okay.
I've never done a prom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've never done those. Yeah.
Right.
I try to focus on mainly just, like, film and television, commercial and music video and stuff like that. Being on set.
Being on set.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 'cause that's actually fun.
Set's so much fun.
Okay, so you're on set.
Mm-hmm.
What's your job's done? Like, what's your downtime like? Are you behind the director, like over there, like looking at makeup and like running in and out, or?
Yeah, so it's a lot of watching monitor.
Mm-hmm.
And for the most part, if it's not hot, you know, makeup won't move that much, especially if, like, if you're using good makeup and good setting sprays, it kind of stays as it is, you know. Skin prep's huge to keep oily skin from continuing to produce oil, and if you do all that stuff, you kind of have an easy job. So most of my job is sitting at monitor and making sure everything looks good on monitor. There's no hairs out of place, or there's no lipstick smeared all over, and if you see something, then you just jump in, get your last looks, and jump out, and then go back to monitor. And then if there's a change, then you got to take them back to the makeup room or trailer or wherever, station, and change the makeup, and then just sit at monitor until something happens. So it's a lot of, like, do everything in the morning, and then you go to set and kind of just, like, maintain your work. Some sets, they have actors coming in all day, so it's like you're doing makeup all day. So yeah, it depends on the set, but there's a lot of downtime for the most part.
And what's your favorite type of production to work on? Commercial, film?
I love film.
Really?
I love film, which...
Is it the hurry up and wait pace, or is it the fact that, you know what you're doing for the day, you've got to...
I like just that you're helping to create something artistic.
Mm-hmm.
It's more satisfying to me as an artist my art to contribute to an overall art medium.
Right.
That's really satisfying, whereas it's commercial, it's literally just like, I'm here to do my job and take a paycheck. It's not as satisfying to, like, my artist need. But yeah, I also like film because it's like summer camp, you know, like, you're with everybody for like a month, and you're with everybody for like 12+ hour days, you know, and you get to know people, and you have that, like, really good, for the most part. There are some sets where, like, you want to strangle everybody on there, and you just kind of, like, stay in your own lane. But for the most part, I get on really great projects with really great crews, and it's so cool. And then it's just, like, you wrap, and then you have a wrap party, and then you go your separate ways. And sometimes I'll get, like, post-feature depression, because it's like, what do I do with my life, you know? Like, I don't have anything. But, yeah, no, I love the atmosphere, and just, like, other filmmakers, being around them, and being a part of a collaborative art form.
Is there a difference between theatrical makeup and, like, stage makeup?
Yeah, so stage makeup is very heavy. Just because the audience is far away. So it has to be exaggerated. I've never done a theater production. In high school, I did theater production. I helped with makeup in the theater. But, like, out here, I've never done a theater production. So I don't know how those things run. But I do know that theatrical makeup is heavier. And a lot of times they don't want to hire makeup, so a lot of theatrical actors know how to do makeup for the most part.
So I guess because when I was younger, I did community theater. They called it junior theater.
Yeah.
So I did community theater, and I actually, for my first show, they're like putting makeup on me, and or the director's like showing me how to do my makeup.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. He's like, and you're gonna want to get a kit because this is my stuff.
Yeah.
I went, okay. So he literally just had like a tackle box, like a fishing tackle box, just stuff in there.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I think I could do that. And I had like a
Little kit, yeah.
Triple tackle box for the 5 or 6 years I did that.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of theatrical actors like.
But I just had to like put on pancake base makeup.
Right.
I didn't have to do anything like major.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe stick some sideburns.
Right. Yeah. Unless it's like a Broadway production, usually there's not makeup. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we've talked all about makeup that I want to know about. What? Honestly, I don't know what to say. I'm actually at a loss for words. Usually I could just talk and talk and talk. What do you think of? Okay, here's a question I have. There was an IATSE possible strike this year. Did that affect you in any way?
No, because I'm not union.
Oh, because you're not union.
Not yet.
So how long have you been doing makeup, like professionally?
Full time, it'll be 3 years in February. Yeah. But I've been around it since I was like 13.
Right.
But yeah, because I graduated. I'm 21. I'll be 22 in February.
Oh, you're young.
Yeah.
You're very young.
Yeah. I know. Everybody's always like, you're 21? Because I guess I act older. I don't know. Yeah, I started when I was at 19.
You know, you reach a certain age in your adulthood, like 20 to 30, you look the same.
Right. Yeah. And I don't know. I feel like this industry makes you grow up, especially like, I don't know, this is like my career. Like, this is my only career I want to have. So it's like, I know it very well, especially being around it since I was in high school.
What makeup artist would you like to shadow? Not shadow.
Oh, God. Assist? Oh, my God. Melissa Street. She's...
Who's Melissa Street for the people who don't know?
She's amazing. She's a TV makeup artist, or like she does corporate stuff, and I really like her. Like, she's on Instagram. It's Epic Makeup, and she's just so precise with everything, and I love that. Because a lot of people are just like, oh, makeup, like.
What TV shows does she work on?
I think she's done. I'm terrible with my memory, is so bad. She's won 8 Emmys.
Okay,
I think she did Sex in the City.
Okay.
But no one quote me on that.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't. I'm so bad at what shows she's done. But I like her work ethic. And I love her organizational skills.
What makes her stand out from... like, have you worked with her before?
I've never worked with her.
Never worked with her?
No, we're friends on... we follow each other on Facebook, and like, we communicate a little bit through that. She knows her industry so well. She's very business oriented, and I like that because a lot of artists aren't. And she's an educator. She loves to educate new artists, and she knows like the ins and outs of production. And I feel like that's kind of how I approach it. Like, I'm artistic, but I also do know how production works and how to like the contracts and everything that goes into like deal memos, contracts, like all of that stuff. And she educates a lot on that.
Do you put anything special in, like when you hand a contract, you're like, well, this has to be in my contract?
No. It's pretty basic.
Because the only reason I ask is because gentleman I talked to yesterday, Antonio, he puts that you can't put my name on any IMDb
page?
digital media. You
Really?
can't associate. Only he can do it. So that
Huh.
goes into his.
That's neat.
Yeah.
Oh, if he doesn't want to be credited
so
on
if
a
he doesn't want
project.
to be credited, he's not credited.
That's neat.
Yeah,
No, mine just mainly is like, this is the rate. This is the pay frame. This is the method of payment. If it's outside of, like, if it's agreed upon, it's outside of the 30-mile zone. Like, this is gas reimbursement. This is my kit fee. That sort of stuff. It's just, like, mainly, I've been screwed on productions a couple times with payment. So it's more of, like, making sure I get paid, and I have a document saying
I
that,
hate
like,
having to chase down production.
it happens so often. But yeah, no, Melissa Street I love, and then Vivian Baker, she's does Jurassic World.
Okay.
And I would love to work with Chris Pratt. But also she's a great artist.
So great artist, but Chris Pratt would be the
perk. The perk, yeah.
The perk.
Like, also working with Chris Pratt.
Would you want to do makeup on his abs? You're like, they're just not defined today.
I know, yeah. Like, Chris, take your shirt off. We gotta fix your abs. Yeah, and then
I'm not taking it just in case it comes off.
Right. And then V. Neal is just, like, the queen of makeup. She's one of the judges now on Face Off, but she's done The Hunger Games, she's done Pirates of the Caribbean, she's done The Grinch, she's done Mrs. Doubtfire. Like, she's really good, and she's been around for a while. And then yeah, I think those are, like, my top ones. But I think Amy Forsyth, she's the department head on Stranger Things, and I'd love to work on Stranger Things.
Oh yeah, that would be a great show.
It's a period piece. It has special effects, and it's beauty makeup. You know, that's, like, my three, because I love period pieces. Those are my favorite. So, her too, Amy Forsyth.
Have you worked on any period pieces?
I've done a 60s.
Okay.
It was like a 60s short film within a bigger film. So we had it was cool because we shot this feature, and then we had
So you were second unit or something like
No, I did the feature too.
Oh, you did the feature.
But then once we finished the feature, we had to, like, I think we took 10 days to shoot the feature, but then there was, like, I guess it was part of the movie, but we'd flash back to, or they'd kind of, like, go into the short film within the film that they were watching. It's hard to explain, but the film was 60s. So once we shot the film, then we went to, like, a different location and just shot the short film. So it was neat to shoot, like, a feature and a short film, but it was all the same project.
And what's your favorite makeup era as far as, like, looks go? Like,
I like the 60s.
You like the 60s?
I like the 60s. I like the cut crease. I love the bottom lashes. The 20s is fun. Just because it's so different. Like, the eyebrows are so thin and rounded, and the finger waves, and I love them all differently. 80s is cool. 80s with all the color.
Really?
Yeah. I just like the 80s.
I grew up in the 80s, and there was a lot of heavy rouge cheek makeup.
Yeah, all the color. Yeah. I know. And it's like...
And the thick eye. It was like...
I know.
Pretty over the top.
Yeah, but, like, Stranger Things is 80s. I love Freaks and Geeks. That's 80s. And I love Breakfast Club. Like, those movies. And
Breakfast Club, yeah.
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 I love the different characters in Breakfast Club. How you had all the different types, and granted they were teenagers, so it wasn't a lot of makeup, but, like, I'm blanking on the names, but the goth girl, or the
Ali Sheedy.
Yeah. I love her. I love her makeup.
The funniest part in that movie is where she, like, draws this snow scene and then just, like, shakes all the dandruff out of her hair onto the paper.
Yeah.
And then just like, I made it.
Yeah.
People are just, like, staring at her.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen that movie, you should definitely
That's a must.
see it. It's a must for growing up.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing you're a fan of John Hughes films.
Mm-hmm.
So you've seen 16 Candles.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen Pretty in Pink.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. What are my favorite movies? Like I said, I don't watch that. I love Stand By Me.
Stand By Me, okay.
Which I got to work with Corey Feldman.
You got to work with Corey Feldman. What was that like?
That was interesting. He also played a drag queen vampire in the movie that we did. It's called Corbin Nash. It's on Netflix. Don't watch it. No, you can watch it. It's a good movie. I'm still friends with a lot of the people that did it. Yeah, I worked with Corey Feldman. He was cool.
Yeah, Rosie?
He was a character, and he played Queenie, the drag queen vampire, very well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was a very neat movie. It was a vampire movie, but not like Twilight. It wasn't like a romantic.
Twilight. I don't know if that's a vampire movie.
Yeah, it has vampires in it. It's a movie with vampires in it.
They say there's vampires in there, but I don't see anybody.
There's more
werewolves.
Yeah, there's more werewolves. But yeah, that movie with Corey Feldman was really neat. That was a journey. But Corey Feldman's cool. We also had Rutger Hauer.
Oh, Rutger Hauer, yeah.
He's nice,
Wow.
and
That's
we
a
had a
blast
couple.
from the past.
Yeah, we had a couple other ones. I forget who was in that movie. We shot like 2 years ago. But yeah, what else? I don't know what other movies I like. I loved Ready Player One.
Really?
I did. I liked it
didn't
because
see
I guess
it.
it was
I didn't see
80s nostalgic.
How is it 80s nostalgia?
Because they had a lot of 80s.
Did they really?
They had a lot of 80s reference. The guy who created the game loved the 80s, so they had a lot of like old video game references and stuff like that. But it was like post-apocalyptic, which I really like. That's my favorite thing.
Do you ever get impressed? Can you think of like some special effects makeup that has in recent years where you're like, oh wow, that's really good?
American Horror Story.
American Horror Story.
The McCashes, Aaron Kruger McCash and Mike McCrash. They're married.
Mm-hmm.
They're amazing. Also, Chris Nelson.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 99% sure that's his name. I know the first name's Chris, but I'm pretty sure his last name's Nelson. Yeah, it is Chris Nelson.
Mm-hmm.
Their makeup's amazing.
Mm.
Do you watch American Horror Story?
Yeah, I get it.
It's amazing, and like I was showing my boyfriend last night all of like the change. It was what's the one? I think it's the new one where they're doing serial killers. I don't remember which one, but Evan Peters literally plays all of the serial killers.
Oh, really?
And my boyfriend was like, "That's not the same guy," and I was like, "No, it is. It's all the same guy, and it's just makeup." And they're amazing. Like their bald cap applications, like you can't tell that the person's not bald. You know, it's like they're just so amazing. So I'd say American, and just all the blood effects, like when they rip people in half and like the guts spill out, and it's like that's all practical. You know, they don't use a lot of CGI in that, and like.
How long would it take for you to set up something like that? I'm assuming there's some type of prosthetic over the person's stomach,
and then
you got to have the guts on the inside. How long?
That's a lot of prep work because you have to like fabricate all of the innards of somebody, and usually they're
Really?
silicone.
You have to fabricate them. You can't just like go to a meat store and buy them.
I mean, there's shops, not meat shops, but there's special effects shops that you can buy them, but that's more expensive than like making the mold and running. I mean, if somebody had a budget to give me where I could just go buy them, but a lot of productions that I work on, they're like, it's cheaper if I make them, but then I also get paid prep days, which is nice. Gosh, I don't even know how long that would take. I've never done anything that elaborate. I've done like practical gunshots where like heads get blown off. That's where the movie I worked on with Dave Willwaco,
who was here earlier, but you didn't see him.
Yeah, he coincidentally was here.
Yeah.
The movie that we worked on, somebody got shot through the temples, and there was like brain matter and stuff, and we used bits of cauliflower.
Bits of cauliflower.
And
for the brains.
For the brains, and of course we like soaked it in blood for a couple. I had like a jar of cauliflower.
Oh yeah.
Like in red food coloring and blood for like a week to make sure it absorbed all the color, and then mushed up banana and something else, and it looks really good. According to Dave, it looked good in person, but I haven't seen the movie.
Mushed up banana.
Yeah. But yeah, that was cool. I've done practical effects like that, or throat slits. I do a lot of throat slits, or I did one where a girl was like digging a razor into her boob.
Since I got you here, and I'm curious, when they do the throat slit, how much of the blood is actually coming off the knife?
Well,
and how much blood is actually being how does
pumped
that
through?
work?
So it's usually blood rigged. Like there's a blood rig with tubing and a pressurized pump at the end of the tube. So I don't have any blood on my knives when I do it. It's all just the tubing. So I take a piece of latex, and it's the strip, and you blend it in behind the neck because it's easier. And it has a pre-cut hole in it, but it's such a thin hole that it doesn't. If the actor's not moving, you can't see that it's a hole. And then on the back of it or glued to the neck is a piece of shrink wrap tubing with slits cut in it, and the more and wider slits you have, the more blood will gush out. And then that's tubed all the way down, however far you need to be away from camera, on a blood pump, and you just kind of pump it through. And the timing's the hardest part to watch the knife go through and then pump the blood through the tube fast enough to.
Now, are you doing that, or is the special effects department doing that?
I've done that.
Oh, you've done that?
Yeah, multiple times.
And have you ever gone like, nope, you did the blood too early?
Oh yeah, and that's hard because you have to clean it up and reset it. So it's like it's a lot of like rehearsal of like me and the actor who's slitting the throat to like get the timing right without the blood, so that you don't have to reset more than 3 times, because then it's just like production's like, oh my god, we're wasting so much money like in time. I've been on a set where the blood pump didn't work, and I still have no idea why it wasn't, because it's supposed to spurt a little bit and it wasn't pressurized enough. It ended up working out because the blood was like really gushing out, but we couldn't get it to spurt, and I don't know why. And like we kept I think we did that one 5 times because we kept trying to get it to spurt, and I don't know why that one went. That was the only time I've had where it wouldn't spurt.
So have you ever had to do a severed limb and like cut it off? And
I've done one where somebody's limbs got ripped off. And a lot of those things are cheated in editing. And a lot of those type of effects have to have good sound design. But with that, we had a chroma green suit, and then we had it ripped. Like, well, it was just the sleeve for the arm, and then it was kind of frayed with blood. And it was a lot of like tight shots of reactionary shots, and then we had a fake limb like being drug off. Oh, excuse me. But
would you like some more water?
No, I have some still.
Right.
Yeah. I've never done a severed limb, but I've done a limb being ripped off.
Oh, okay. You've done one.
Yeah.
Okay. That must have been fun.
Yeah, it was a fun shoot. It was a night shoot. It was cold.
It's cold.
Yeah, night shoots. Because I get so cold, so night shoots is like trying to do makeup when my hands are like frozen is the worst.
You know, I think that's what the people forget about Los Angeles, is that
It's a
we
desert.
are an actual desert, and at night it does get
cold.
fucking cold.
Yeah, I have like 6 jackets in my car, like for layers when I go to set, because it's like I'm like taking jackets off and like putting jackets on, like it's crazy.
Yeah, it's not all great weather.
Yeah.
Well, Sierra, I think that's all we have for today.
All right. That
I
was fun.
appreciate you coming on. I learned a lot about makeup.
Yeah, I feel like people don't know.
No, people don't.
People are just like, it's makeup.
I know I learned some stuff today. I know I got that stuff down.
Yeah.
So
Very
is there let's just plug yourself here. You want to, how people can get a hold of you if they want to hire you to be their makeup artist?
Let's see. I guess email's the best
Okay.
way, or Instagram. It's Sierra Barton Artistry on Instagram. My email and phone number are on the little bottom of the Instagram thing. You can text or email. It says it on there.
Okay.
But yeah, I guess Instagram.
Okay.
But
Great.
yeah.
All right, Sierra, I want to thank you for being here. I really appreciate
thank you for
it.
having
I learned
me.
a lot about makeup, more than I'd ever want to know. And I'll have my girlfriend call you for makeup tips later
Yeah,
on.
of course.
All right.
It was a pleasure. Thank you.
That'll do it for another episode of Stories from the Set. I hope you learned something. If not, you weren't paying attention.